I had just finished wiring the final paper lanterns when the morning sun struck the porch, which was perfectly golden and pleasant. Their delicate white bulbs were concealed along the overhang's edge, waiting for dusk to activate them. My hands were filthy from hanging lights, and my back hurt from carrying folding chairs. But the yard looked lovely in that silence. Imperfectly lovely. Only genuine effort could produce a long patchwork table. Wood panels and borrowed folding legs were assembled, running directly down the center. I grabbed my phone and wiped my palms on my jeans. The backyard spread out like a welcome mat for happiness. Hazel and Ivy were most likely consuming their morning yogurt and coffee at the sleek white kitchen counter. The same counter I helped finance. I tapped the contact marked Hazel Home, my thumb hovering over it. The phone rang 3 times before she answered. "Happy birthday," Hazel said, her tone clipped, like the words were forced out of her mouth out of duty. "Thank you," I muttered, smiling in spite of myself. I wanted to tell her everything was ready. Marco arrived early and was tuning his guitar with help from the neighbors. The lights were up, Dylan was bringing wings, and the backyard looked ready. There was a long silence. Then Hazel's voice turned icy. My heart was pierced with hope. But it was just a backyard birthday party. I laughed, but not the warm kind I used to enjoy. This laugh was dry, brittle, the kind reserved for people who've gone without for too long. I blinked, stayed motionless on the porch, phone pressed to my ear, as if holding it closer might soften her words. Ivy groaned in the background. "Really? If it's outside, I'm not going." "Dad, do you have any idea how I'll look in those pictures?" Hazel groaned too, already tired of the conversation. "I'm genuinely embarrassed. For you?" And then the call ended. No goodbye, no giggle, no, "Maybe we'll stop by later." Just sterile silence. I sat down on the porch step. The old wood creaked beneath me. The phone went limp in my hand. The lanterns swayed. They caught the light. When a breeze picked up, a little rustle against my thigh reminded me of last night. I had used a ladder to manually twist each wire. Marco had found me behind his shed. I'd run 3 tests on the solar bulbs. I looked again at the long table, the mismatched chairs, the bunting. I wanted it to be special, not fancy, just significant. I borrowed a plain banner that read, "Happy Birthday from Fatima next door." It wasn't grand, but it was mine. And yet, it wasn't. It fluttered against the railing in blocky, sparkly letters. Suddenly, I remembered how Hazel and I used to have noisy dreams. Driving home from the grocery store, talking about dinners out back. We didn't have much, but we thought love made a place beautiful. I remembered her giggling barefoot on the grass, holding a string of lights, growing rosemary, touching my cheek with a lemonade jar just because she could. But where had that version of her gone? The screen door creaked behind me. "Where were you when she left?" it seemed to ask. Marco poked his head out, sunglasses resting on his guitar bag. "You all right out here?" he asked. I forced a smile, cleared my throat. "Yeah, just catching my breath." He stepped outside. I nodded, not believing my own words. "Backyard looks great, man. It's got heart. That's what people care about." "You sure they're coming?" he asked softly. "No," I replied. "They're not. Then let's throw a party they'll wish they came to," he said, leaning back on his elbows, looking up at the lights. I tried to laugh, but it came out wrong. Because the truth is, I wasn't throwing this party out of spite. I wasn't trying to prove anything. All I wanted was to be seen as me, not as a bank account, not as an obligation, not as a tool for someone else's ambition. One of the lanterns had blown sideways in the wind. I stood up, brushed off my jeans, climbed the porch railing, and fixed it. Hazel's words echoed in my mind. That's for the underprivileged. But the ironic thing was, I felt anchored, not impoverished. Sure, the plastic cups didn't match the plates. The lawn was patchy. The speaker was borrowed, but I had built something here. Over time. If they couldn't see that, then I hadn't. I took a deep breath, exhaled slowly, and then I heard a voice from the sidewalk. Happy birthday to me. Dylan, carrying food, grinning wide. You're right on time. The party hasn't even started, I said. Did I miss cake? He joked, waving boxes with his chin. And just like that, the day took root. The backyard hummed with the comforting tempo of old songs waiting to be played, even if it was only a backyard celebration. This day was still mine, not Hazel's, not Ivy's. I didn't cancel, because I couldn't. Maybe it was pride, or maybe it was the lanterns. Or maybe it was just time. Time to let joy back in. By noon, Dylan was behind the portable grill, flipping wings with the precision of a surgeon and the swagger of a man who never disappoints. You ever notice food tastes better when you didn't? Rent a hall to eat it? He joked. His sweatshirt was stained with marinade. I laughed. Then Fatima walked in through the gate, carrying a cake that was too tall and clearly loved. It's not perfect. Might tip over, she said. The icing was lopsided. The strawberry had slipped down the side, but it said, Happy Birthday, Elijah, in wobbly frosting. I nearly cried. We placed it right in the middle. On a tablecloth I found at a church sale for $3. The plates didn't match. Nothing matched. But everything had a story, a fingerprint, a purpose. And then, they came. One by one. Some I expected. Some I hadn't seen in years. Monique from the community center brought ginger beer and a platter of fried eggs. Tyrone, one of my old students, now taller than me, said, You always cared. That's why I came. Janine from the corner store showed up with her daughter, who handed me a handmade card, stick figures and a giant sun, and me wearing a crown. I tucked it in my pocket, like gold. Before the music began, laughter rolled like thunder. People, let go. Marco strummed his guitar and asked for requests. Voices called out, old songs, soul songs. He answered with Bob Marley, his voice cutting through the late afternoon like a memory. I moved through the crowd, filling glasses, handing out napkins, capturing smiles like they were currency. Every, thank you for inviting me, hit differently, because I hadn't heard that in a long, long time. There were no chandeliers, no matching silverware, just paper plates. Shoes kicked off, kids chasing bubbles, and grown-ups